Hey, what's up you guys? I'm Sara Lubratt and I got character art made of the main character of my high fantasy project that I call Project DE. I've wanted to get character art made for a while, but that finally became possible thanks to Fiverr sponsoring this video. I asked you guys here on YouTube and over on Instagram whether I should have character art made for 3 of my characters, each by one artist, or have art of one character made by 3 different artists. And I was amazed at how close that poll was. I really thought that one was gonna pull out ahead, but ultimately you guys wanted to see 3 renditions of one of my characters. So then I found 3 artists on Fiverr that do not use AI as part of their process, and I sent all 3 of them the same message about my main character, Mira. Mira is one of the 3 points of view in my high fantasy novel that I call Project DE, which is the book that I finished draft 7 of last summer. The story is told from 3 points of view. There's a relic-based magic system, there's dragons, there's good versus evil. I think it's a great story. I obviously love it, or I wouldn't have spent 7 drafts on it, but I decided that the character art that I wanted to have made should be of Mira, because realistically, even though there's 3 POVs, DE is really about her and her storyline and what she goes through. So here's the message that I sent to each of those 3 artists on Fiverr. The character I'd like to have art made for is of a 15-ish-year-old girl from my fantasy novel. She wears a black mask that would fully cover her head, think sort of like a motorcycle helmet, but it's a fantasy story and the mask is carved from a scale, so personal interpretation is welcome here. I picture the mask being one solid piece that she can't see out of and encompasses her whole head. Her hair is straight and we can see a little bit of hair peeking out from under the bottom of the mask that falls to her shoulders. I'd like to include one of her hands raised, and her right arm is darkened to the elbow, but the character is pretty pale other than that. So even though I have my image of how I see Mira, I wanted to still give a little bit of space so that the artist could show me their interpretation of Mira and my description, but also so that we could get 3 different images of this character. So with that, let's look at some character art. And we're going to talk through about what I like about each of them and which parts I think are truest to the character. I want to go through these in the order that I received them back. So this is the first artwork that I got back, and I was blown away for this being the first one that I received. I immediately had to show this to the girls in my writing group. This artist sent me this with like 3 different backgrounds so that I had my pick of the litter basically, as well as a GIF of their process, which was really cool to see how they put it together. I love how this one turned out. I also love how all 3 of them turned out. My only issue with this one is that it looks like my character was aged up, because I did request all 3 of the artists to make a piece of art of a girl that looks like she's like roughly 14. I think that this character looks like they could be in their 20s, but I think the rest of the details are beautiful. The mask is a little owly, but I kind of like it. The mask captures what I wanted it to capture, which is something that would encompass the character's whole head, but so that you could still see some of the hair peeking out from underneath it. I love the hand detail where you can kind of see like black veins turning at the elbow. I was not specific with this artist on what clothing she would wear. Only one of the artists asked me for clarification on clothing, and that was the 3rd artist. But I think overall this piece is totally stunning and so gorgeous. The character just seems to me a little bit older than what I had pictured in my head. Editing Sara here. I still love this piece, but I wanted to jump in and say that I think she just looks too composed, and that's mostly why I think she looks too old. She looks like she knows what she's doing. Her posture seems a little too good for a 14-year-old, but overall I still love how the piece turned out and I think it's beautiful. So for the next piece of artwork I want to share with you guys, I want to say that I tried to choose artists with 3 different styles so that we could really get just a vast array on interpretations for Mira, and this one is probably stylistically my favorite. But for example, with the first one, I really liked that artist's line art, and then for this piece that I'm about to show you guys, I loved how it looks like it's a painting. This piece looks like it should be hanging in a museum somewhere and not just created for me because I think my character looks like this. I think this piece is beautiful. I don't think it follows super closely with the description that I had sent over, but I like how the artist interpreted it. This looks like a high fashion version of Mira. I think the detail in the mask is really beautiful, and I know that this artist really liked painting faces, and so they still wanted part of the character's face to be visible. I think this piece is really gorgeous. It kind of looks like she's wearing like a ball gown or some kind of beaded dress, and the hand that I had requested to be darkened kind of gets lost in the background of this, but I love the style of this piece and how it looks like it could be like an oil painting. And the more I look at it, the more I love it. The more I look at all of these, honestly, the more I love them. I mean, I love how much detail the artist chose to put into this. The mask specifically, I think with how dark the background was, if they had chosen to make it like a full head covering, that it wouldn't have stood out as much from the background as it does with the contrast of her skin in this picture. Yeah, the more I look at it, the more I like it. And then this 3rd piece that I'm about to show you guys, I think is probably the most accurate to my description that I sent the artists. This was also the artist that asked me for clarification on what I think the character would be wearing. But what I really appreciated about this artist is they sent me a sketch before they sent me the final to ask if there were any changes that I wanted made before they colored it in. So first up, I'm going to show you guys the black and white sketch that they sent over, which I loved being able to give feedback, even though my feedback was like, it looks amazing. I can't wait to see it colored. But I appreciated the opportunity to make any tweaks. And then after I sent my response of, no, it looks amazing, I can't wait to see it when you add color, then they sent me the final, which was this. I think this is beautiful. I think this is the most accurate to how I see Mira in my head. And when I was writing book 1 of Project DE, I think the mask is beautiful. It covers her whole head. We can't see any of her facial features, but we can still see some of the hair peeking out from underneath the mask. I love the hand detail. I think this piece looks age appropriate to the character and overall just looks the most accurate of the 3. I also really like how this artist decided to go with a lighter background so that the mask and the hand would pop. But I loved the opportunity of getting to work with 3 different artists with 3 very different styles, as you guys can tell, to draw and paint the same character 3 different ways. It was so fun to be able to have character art made of Mira, and I definitely see myself commissioning these artists again in the future, potentially for more character art for other of my characters, both from Project DE and my other stories that I'm working on. And none of these artists were super expensive, so if you are looking for a reward for yourself, because rewards are something that I talk about rather frequently in the writing process, and just like how to reward yourself for all of your hard work, I highly recommend getting character art made. I didn't realize how easy it was. All I had to do was just send over a description of my character and give them a couple extra details, and then I got back 3 gorgeous pieces of character art. But all 3 of these artists will be linked down in the description box below. Thank you again to Fiverr for sponsoring this video. You can use the code on screen for 10% off. I would love it if you guys let me know down in the comments below which of these 3 pieces of artwork you liked the best. But this was so much fun to see character art made. It's also so fun to share a little bit more with you guys because I know that some of you guys have been following me for a very long time, and I appreciate you guys sticking with me. Hopefully it was fun to get to see what one of my characters would look like, and I hope to be bringing you guys more in the near future. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you have not already. I'm Sara Lubratt, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!